I want to go to the ground. I want to turn to someone who is right now fighting on the front lines of this war. Joining me now is IDF soldier Rudy Rockman. Rudy, you are quite literally, as we can see there in your picture, you are called now to duty. As you prepare for what this next phase of the war looks like, Israeli officials have been pretty clear that the plan right now, the objective is to wipe out Hamas. But I wonder, do you think that that will require street by street fighting? And are you personally prepared for what that would mean?
I mean, the entire army has been prepared for this war. Hamas's goal from its very beginning has been to eliminate the Jewish people and to eliminate Israel. It's actually in their constitution when they built their government, saying that they need to eliminate the Jews not only in Israel but in the entire the world. So when you give a terrorist organization like that weapons, we know what that looks like, whether it's for Hamas, the Palestinian Authority, or Hezbollah, or all these different groups that are actually oppressing its peoples and don't actually represent its peoples. If you speak to Palestinians on the ground, whether in Judea and Samaria, the West Bank, or in Gaza, they do not like Hamas. They do not like the Palestinian Authority. They're on their, 20th year of their 4-year term. These are oppressive regimes that are controlling their people and not only attacking Israeli civilians, but forcing Palestinians to also be caught into this conflict. Israelis do not want to see either Israelis die or Palestinians die. The majority of us are innocents. And this is not a war between the people. Let me make it clear. The Jews are not fighting the Muslims and the Israelis are not fighting the Palestinians. We're fighting Hamas, which is oppressing both Israelis and Palestinians. Are we ready? We are ready. But we also need to not only look at the what is happening, we need to understand why it is happening. And this really started with the West pushing narratives of dividing Israelis and Palestinians. The reality is that there is no future without Palestinians and without Israelis.
Yeah.
Neither of us are going to disappear. So I hope that when this settles, we can learn from this and transcend this conflict together.
It's an important point, and I think so many people share your hope that if there is an end to this, hopefully there is, that it's one that is obviously a lot more peaceful. But as we sit here, there's so much concern right now about the 1 million or so Palestinians who are being told to flee the northern part of Gaza right now. I've noted that you've observed in the past that Hamas uses civilian casualties of Palestinians as a propaganda tool. But are you worried that this operation carried out by Israel could ultimately play into Hamas's hands if those civilians are not able to evacuate and many of them end up killed?
Absolutely. I don't want to see any civilian killed. For me, you're a foreigner, you're a fellow human being, but for me, Palestinians are my cousins. They're my family. So I don't want to see any Palestinians killed. And I'm glad that they have at least 24 hours to be able to evacuate. Israelis have less than 24 seconds to be able to evacuate when we're being fired on. But when we look at people in Gaza, I really hope we can minimize the casualties because none of us want to see anybody dead. We want to remove Hamas so it can stop being a threat both for Israelis and Palestinians. And in order to transcend this conflict, it's not just about creating peace, it's about creating justice. There's injustice both for Israelis and both for Palestinians. And there's one land and one land that we can both live on. But in order to get there, we have to stop these zero-sum game narratives that are educating people that in order to be pro-Israel, you have to be anti-Palestinian, or in order to be pro-Palestinian, you have to be anti-Israel. The reality, if you're anti-either, you're anti-both, because we both belong on this land and we will both be here eternally.
We certainly hope it will be for you and for really everyone in the region. Rudy Rockman, thank you for joining us, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you for having me.